We represent the most informed generation in human history. At any moment, we can tap into global networks to access data that previous generations would have spent decades trying to uncover. This connectivity allows us to manage physical resources at a staggering scale. We use data to coordinate global logistics and optimize the output of energy facilities with a precision that was impossible 30 years ago. Economically, that information has built massive wealth. Financial centers process billions of transactions every second, using automated data feeds to move capital across the globe. But despite this total access, the organizations running these systems appear directionless. Decisions take longer to make. Transformation is rare. We have more data than ever, yet execution remains weak. Having all the answers on a screen has not cleared the path forward. It suggests that our relationship with information itself is broken. We usually respond to this confusion by gathering even more data. We assume that a few more facts or a more detailed spreadsheet will finally provide the clarity we need. But this is the central error, mistaking an accumulation of facts for an understanding of reality. This is the DIKW pyramid, mapping the path from data to wisdom. Most organizations get trapped at the bottom, hoping volume converts to insight. Instead, the system collapses under its own weight. Information separates the mind, but rarely changes how a leader thinks. This leads to a dangerous feeling of intelligence. An executive might have the language of a data expert, yet remain completely ineffective when it is time to act. When an organization is full of information but lacks insight, it becomes paralyzed by the very intelligence it worked so hard to collect. This paralysis starts with how we are wired. The human brain is naturally attracted to novelty. Every time we encounter a new fact or a fresh report, our neural pathways provide a small reward, encouraging us to keep consuming. We are biologically conditioned to value newness over comprehension. It is much easier to scan a dozen headlines than to spend 30 minutes reflecting on the implications of a single one. This creates an illusion of mastery. Because we recognize the terminology of a new concept, we believe we have learned it. But familiarity is just exposure. It isn't application. When leaders are caught in this cycle of endless consumption, they lose the ability to think deeply, causing a failure in leadership that starts from the top. This individual addiction scales up into systemic dysfunction. Reporting queues grow longer as teams try to prove their value through the volume of data they can provide. Consider these strategic pillars for an academic hospital. They focus on patient care and operational excellence. But in a data-heavy environment, boards can become so focused on daily metrics that they fail to see if the hospital is actually meeting these larger goals. Most corporate systems reward visibility over clarity. People are promoted for delivering more reports rather than for the quality of their reasoning. Organizations adopt complex frameworks and collect endless data, yet they continue to repeat the same operational mistakes. They have become informed, but they haven't been transformed. This failure to process data correctly is visible at the national level. Many nations, from the Caribbean to Asia, have spent years gathering massive datasets on their populations and economies. Yet, despite holding constant international conferences and publishing detailed policy papers, their development indicators often remain flat. Having the data has not automatically led to progress. The problem isn't a lack of proposed solutions. It is that the people interpreting the data are often looking at the right numbers, but reaching the wrong conclusions about what is actually causing the stagnation. Across every level of society, our ability to measure the world has outpaced our ability to make sense of it. To move forward, we have to distinguish between exposure and transformation. Information expands the mind by adding more to it. Insight transforms the mind by changing how it functions. In a moment of true insight, your perception of reality reorganizes. The noise of 1,000 different data points suddenly locks into a clear pattern. This clarity removes the need for overthinking. It dissolves the confusion that keeps leaders stuck in a state of constant analysis. Real intelligence is found when your decision-making behavior actually changes. If your actions remain the same, you haven't learned, you've only been exposed. This transition requires a shift away from just delivering content. It requires re-engineering how we perceive the problems in front of us. This is the framework developed by Victor Prince Dixon, known as the Transformer. His system isn't designed to help you know more, it is designed to help you see clearly. In a world where raw information has become a commodity, the mere ability to access data is no longer a competitive advantage. The future belongs to those who can sit with reality, interpret it deeply, and then act with precision. For the modern leader, the priority has shifted. The final objective is to see differently.